All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Beckley Wrestling. We got a real special one for us here, especially us Carrollton, Ohio people. Man, this one's a special one. So we got number 11 in the country at 174, Benny Pasiuk. How you doing, Benny?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Good, big guy. Good, man. I appreciate you taking this time. We got together before, but we're gonna run it back one more and see how this turns out, though, man. So it's good to see you again.
Sounds great. I'm excited.
Absolutely. How's the whole season planning out and the preseason, I should say. How's everything been rolling for you guys?
It's going really good. We have a team that's excited to get on the mat and a team that's full of energy. So we're all excited to get out there. We're starting right now. It's more just we're doing a lot of live, but it's more just focused on technical areas and getting very good at the very basic right now. So we're not messing that up halfway through the season. If we get all that done now, we'll be good. So especially for the younger guys, it's very important to make sure that high school is a lot different than college. So making sure you're getting the little things right so you can only progress from there.
Absolutely, absolutely. And now, how is it with you now being the senior? Like looking back, you came in as a freshman. Like now you see these new young guys coming in, like and you're the leader now. You're who they're looking to. Like how's that role? How's it been for you?
It's going really good. It's interesting because it's true, like they say about West Point, is the days go by so slow, but the time, like the months fly by, the weeks fly by. So looking back, it, like if you really think into it, it went really slow, but overall it flew by. But it's really different because now, like whenever I was a freshman, looking up to seniors and stuff, it's weird being in that position because I'm like, am I doing the right thing? Are they really looking up to me? But I know that they are, but it's like it's hard to like picture that like that I'm the same role model I was looking up to whenever I was a freshman. So
Absolutely, and it would be. I can, and that's just your humbleness, though, bro. I mean, just the little bit that we have got to talk and me getting to know you a little bit. Like you're a very humble human being like that. So like I feel like I could definitely see you looking at it like that. But I can assure you, without even being there, that I'm sure you're being a great leader, leading them boys in the right direction. Because you just what you've accomplished. I mean, it takes a lot of hard work and dedication. So as long as they're following that, you're guiding them in the right direction, buddy.
no, thank you very much.
So with now sitting here at number 11, I know it's just a number and it's just a ranking, but I mean for us Carrollton people, man, like it was huge to see somebody that wore that C just like us sitting here at 174 in Division One wrestling. Like I mean, dude, I remember, or I ain't. Well, you see me. I shared it and liked it and put it on my story. I was like, heck, this was awesome. I thought it was just cool. I mean, to be honest, like I said before we started recording, I see you as like honestly when I look at it, like you're a top eight guy in my opinion. 174 is a tough weight class too, so that's nothing. Honestly, top 11, like be very proud of it. I mean, we're all proud of you, big man. Like it very much so. But how did it make you feel when you first seen that come out? Was there any kind of like, man, I've really worked my way up type deal, or
It is interesting because like now it's more like I in like a humble way I expect like I want to be up there, but like I see that and I'm like it's just a number. It doesn't really like it doesn't mean anything right now because I'm not on that podium yet. So I don't care what the number says. I don't care if it's 20 or if it's not even on there. Like it doesn't matter what it is. At the end of the year, if you're on that podium, that's all that matters. Doesn't matter if you can say you're ranked first in the country, but if like Austin Gomez, he was ranked up there number one, number two, and he wasn't on the podium, so it doesn't mean anything. So
yes,
that's
sir.
something that I try to look at as like it's just a number, and there's upsets all the time. So no matter if they're in front of me or behind me, they're all good opponents. Have to go out there with the same mindset against them. So
And that's a fact too, and that's a good way. And honestly, I think that's something that I I actually had a podcast with Mr. Gene from Wrestling Mindset, and
yeah,
he actually brought that up. How guys like, especially young guys like freshmen and just anybody like going up against, we'll use Austin Gomez since we're talking about him. Like heck, you watch what he did the year before at Nationals, so now you're like, man. And then I mean he's beat Sammy Sasso several times, and uh, just you look at that and you look at the stats, you look at the victories, the name, and the number and like you can get caught up in it. You know what I mean? Like you can sit there and be like, oh man, like especially coming in young, like it's like, or if you pulled a Carter Staraji, 3-time national champ, it's like they're already in their head before they get on the mat. And I
Exactly.
think the way that you just approached it and the way that you did it, I think was pretty cool and just it perfectly said. I don't think you could say it any better. And as long as you can instill that into them freshmen down there, which you guys had an awesome recruiting class come in too.
We
Like
did.
everybody I've seen, you guys really they're building something down there
Yeah.
at West Point, and it's exciting because with you going there, it's really had me pay more attention to what's going on at Army. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
they definitely got some killers in there, man. And it gets I'm excited for the future for all of you, and especially for you in this final season. And
Yeah.
uh, I've been saying it for a while. Like you can make that podium, and I feel like you have had. You look at your three times. I mean, you're a 3-time NCAA qualifier. If you could run it back, is there anything? I mean, obviously, you wouldn't, you'd want to be on the podium, but uh, what do you think you could have done differently? I guess is in a roundabout way, like to have that finish. Like, what do you think happened there that like was like, ah, man, you know what? If I could have done this or that, maybe I could have had a different outcome.
Each year's a different story because like my freshman year, I lost the match I lost, the second loss. He ended up All Americaning, and that was the kid that I was beating the kid, and then I went for a shot and he pancaked me to my back. But I was a little timid for that match, a little like I'm only a freshman, so like I didn't know my potential at the moment. And then, but then I wrestled the same kid this year, and I wrestled a lot more just my style, and I was able to beat him at nationals. And then my sophomore year, I was beating the kid the whole match, but I started playing defensive at the end, and I was up 1 point last 10 seconds, and he shot in one of his go-to shots. He scored with 3 seconds left. So little
I
things like
know.
that are take you out of it. So you just got to be on your A game and score as many points as possible to eliminate that risk at the end of a match like that.
I like that though, man. And I, where's your, I guess, mindset heading into your final year? You got this is it. This is all the four high school state finals and the state championship and even your EIWA championship to runner up to Chris Folk like everything that you've been working. I mean, a long
Yes.
time, and this how you viewing this season coming into it.
So this year, I've experienced like injuries or something that come and go, like no matter what. So it's like I'm trying to this year really like keep my body as healthy as possible, but be smart about it. So make sure I'm putting in extra time to stretch, extra time to do my lifts to make sure I'm staying strong, but also lifting also prevents injuries. So I'm trying to make sure that I'm uh, staying good there, not just wrestling and like not focusing on the other things that in your diet, helping all those little things. But the biggest thing for like on the mat this year is it's the little things that you don't even see in the match. Like whenever you see someone take a shoot a single leg or double leg, it looks so easy at nationals. It's those little things that they're doing, their hand position, their feet position, like how their hips are moving. Those little things are what make it look so easy, but they're going the extra mile. So this year, I'm like really like going in and trying to fine tune those small areas. That's the little difference at nationals. Everyone is a top caliber, but those little differences that you don't even see from like a perspective, a viewer's point, is what's going to change the game. So
Absolutely, absolutely, you and we don't like outside looking, especially at the level that you're at. I mean, you're at the highest level outside of like U.S. The Olympics, but outside of that, like when it comes to folk style, like you are at the peak of it and against the greatest guys in the country. So, and it definitely, and that's what you get some fans' perspective. Like I was watching Who's Number One, and Bo Bassett, I believe, lost. And man, I posted something because Bo's a good kid, and I was like, hey, man, Bo's gonna come back stronger than ever, and it was just at a fan's perspective, like, man, I got chewed up on this post by Flo. Like, I mean, I just had a whole bunch of people like, man, like he doesn't do this, and it's like, man, you guys really like we don't see everything. Like, you know what I mean? Like you said, those little fine details that you're trying to tune up and get together. So it's they're sitting there judging Bo for this one loss, saying he's not putting in the work, he's not this. But it's like, hey, maybe there's just a couple. I mean, the kid's a sophomore in high school and he's got a heck of a future ahead of him. Like, give
Exactly.
him a little break here. But at the end of the day, like the whole point is just like there's a lot more that we don't see that ESPN ain't showing us at nationals or the Big Ten Network or whatever the case may be, whatever we're watching at that time. But I'm glad to hear it. So I take it that's the biggest, like what we're working on the most this off season, like just
Yes.
just fine tuning, trying to touch up on that.
Yes, at this point, when you get to college, it's hard to change any style or change. Like if I wrestle, because something I was trying to work on a ton was a lot more like hand fighting and being aggressive in tie-ups. But my style is more staying away, open shots, and like when I tie up, go right away. So when I was trying to change that a couple years ago, I just started exhausting myself, and I stopped focusing on any technique. It was just I was dead after the first period. So I was like, it's how you wrestle. If that's your style, go with it. But I was exerting my energy the wrong way. So it wasn't helping me benefit at all. So I just learned at what style I wrestle at my whole life and how can I progress from that like place.
And now, how do you feel after your 4 years with where you chose to go?
Oh,
I,
yeah.
I good with it. And the
I'm
only reason why I ask is because and I've brought this up before, but I watched an interview with you and how you and your dad, like you were getting an interview, and I believe it was in the wrestling room, and it really just gained that much more respect and really. I don't know your dad really well. He's very well known, a very good name around here. And but I can see why, because I mean when I meet you, I can just tell you don't become the man you are without having a good dad in your life and a good supporting system and a good family, just a good group of people around you. So, but I remember you saying he him and you, whenever you were going into looking at schools and where to go, that you looked at life after wrestling, because wrestling ain't forever. And it really put it into a different perspective, because we're always like, man, I was in the Penn States, but like you really are setting yourself up for something really great down the line. And I'm even excited for you for that too. And just appreciate your service and everything that you're doing for us, buddy, and what you're going to do here in the future too. But I mean, still, I guess, I mean, from where I left off, sorry, I started rambling there, but
no, you're good.
are
I'll, I'll break it down from the start. So having my dad as my coach, my whole like, because he's been my coach. He's coached so many sports. He's a very, very good athlete and everything. So he's been the coach of wrestling, football, baseball, track, golf, and even right now he's teaching. He's a coach for golf, track, and wrestling. But he, having him as a coach throughout my entire life in all sports, it has been amazing. I know some parents and coaching, it doesn't go hand in hand because they expect everything out of their kids and they start screaming if they lose. No, my dad's been very, very good at we play the sports we want. Like my oldest brother was a basketball player. He didn't like wrestling, so he switched to basketball. And like being like my dad, he's a great dad. So he's like, do whatever makes you happy. And he became a really successful basketball player. And so, but no matter, I've never lost a match where my dad came off yelling at me. Every time he'll give me a second to like relieve, because he obviously knows I'm going to go out there and try my hardest, and I didn't want to lose. So his first question will always be like, I'm very proud of you. I love you. How can we improve from that? Like, what do you take away from that match? And honestly, you learn more from your losses. So I would rather lose 10 times throughout the year and learn from those than lose twice at nationals and get kicked out of the tournament. So I think if you win a close match, what do you learn? You learn that I'm so happy I won. But if you lost that close match, you're thinking about every little thing that could have changed that. So I think that those losses are important. And my dad was very good at not yelling and just like controlling after the match to make it so it was a beneficial thing rather than you suck, you're terrible. So that's something that very, very happy from him. And my mom always so supportive. She's always in the back saying she was my scouter. She would scout every person. She'd know every name. So that's something that she still does an amazing job at. So she's behind the scenes doing an amazing job and always there to help us through everything. But coming to West Point, it was a big decision, and it was one at first. My junior year, I said it was my sophomore year because one of my really good friends, Lane Peters, he was a freshman or sophomore year, and he was talking about it, and like my mom brought up like, hey, Lane said that you should consider it, look at it, and I was like, I would never join the Army. Like it was something that no one in my family ever has done. I was like, I'm not going to West Point. I didn't even know what West Point was, and she was like, just look at it. I was like, no. And then a couple months later, she brought it back up, and she was like, just consider it. And the sophomore year, I was still like, no, I'm not going to do that. Well, it came around junior summer, and I was like, I mean, it does have a lot to offer, and it's a really good school. That is true. And so when I started doing my like looking, and they started coming to like, they came to state and talked to me there. They came out for like a clinic, and I went to that. So I was talking to the coaches there too in Ohio, and then so I started to look at it a little more. And Lane was always a great role model. So and he loved it here. He thought it was so beneficial. So it was something I was like, okay, I'll put thought into it, but I still don't think it's going to happen. And so we started looking through all the places to go for college, and West Point. Like when I came for the visit, it was branch week, so all the helicopters, all the tanks, everything was out. We got to hold all the type of weapons. It was so we were like, this is amazing. We're getting treated luxury because as a recruit, you get treated very well.
Absolutely.
So I was like, this is awesome. The coaches were awesome. Everything was great. And I started looking at other places, and I just felt like, where am I going to be after college? Because college only lasts 4 years. You only have 4 years to wrestle, and then unless you go to like Olympics or try out for that, like which very small number, but I was like, there's not really what are they offering after, and I knew West Point guarantees you some serve in the Army. I've learned how important serving is, so I'm very happy I am. And then it was something that I was looking 10 years down the road, and in the moment I was like, I could care less. I don't care about the college experience. Like every person that gets a college experience struggles initially out of college, usually, like because they don't know what they're gonna do. They're like, what am I gonna do with my life? So it's something where I knew it would be hard and challenging, but it would help me grow in so many ways. And I'm very thankful that my dad and mom didn't push it on me. They wanted to be my choice, but they were very like helpful in the process with keep reminding me like, hey, just consider it. Like right now you're 18, 19 years old. You don't really know what you want to do with your life, but just know that like it's a very like great opportunity. And whenever I've talked to anyone that's like 40 or older, they're like, oh my gosh, like West Point, you might go there. That's awesome. And they know about it, but anyone my age knew nothing about it. Like, why would you want to go there? So it was like, I knew later in life I would maybe regret if I didn't come here and try it. And something that helped me too was I didn't have any backup plan. Like prep school and freshman year during COVID were very hard times because I was homesick. I was stuck. You were stuck on post here. You couldn't leave, do anything. So it was really challenging. But something that helped me was I didn't have a backup plan. I made it so I had no other place to go like for college. Like I told all the coaches like that were also recruiting me. I was like, I'm going to West Point, and they're like, it's always open here. But in my mind, I was like, I'm not going anywhere else. So even though times would get tough, I'm like, I don't have another plan, so I'm sticking it out. So, which I'm very grateful I did.
Good. Yeah, and that's awesome to hear because just the fact that at 18 years old you were mature enough to view it like that rather than just jumping on, hey, it's a big school, like focusing on because people, you put a lot of time and effort into your wrestling, and I understand why they do it, but like it's just to sit there and think outside of it, like where after these 4 or 5 years, if I get redshirted and then go, you know what I mean? So like after these 5 years, what do I do? Where am I heading? And I think just hats off to you, your parents. I think it was a very mature decision to look at it the way that you did at the age that you were at the time. And I think the sky's the limit for you even outside of wrestling. And I mean, we're excited to see even what you do outside of that, buddy. Like I'm very excited for you.
Thank you very much.
But back to, I mean, at the end of that though, like when it came to the wrestling side of things, the coaches, like whenever you were getting recruited, and even after spending your time there, like the Ohio States or Indiana's, Illinois, Penn State, like wherever else you were looking, I'm not sure, but North Carolina's and uh, all these schools, Cornell's, and you you hear all about these, Kale, Tom Ryan, like the Brand's brother, you know what I mean? So you hear about that, and unless you're like a diehard like myself, like you don't they don't hit on a lot of what Army has to offer, or so if I was a kid looking to come to Army as a wrestler, how would you sell me on it as a senior that's trying to help bring in? I'm there to come on a visit. What's going to sell me to come to Army?
So the biggest thing is I have it on my water bottle right here. It's there. We have a motto called BHA, and it's something for Army wrestling only. It stands for Brotherhood, Heart, Attitude, Warrior, and it's something that we live by. And like the biggest thing that you hear, like anytime anyone comes to visit, the first thing you hear about the wrestling team, like what's good about it, is brotherhood. Everyone has each other's back. Everyone we basically are always with each other no matter what, and it's something that you can rely on each other. If someone's down, you have someone else to pick you up. So it's like we're in the room scrapping, and we are trying to kill each other while we're wrestling. But after, we hug it out, we love each other, we're showing each other grace. So it's something it's an interesting thing that no one understands. At West Point, it's a hard thing to process. You guys are just killing each other, but you're so close. So, but it's something that is, whenever recruits come, they see it, and they we had even last weekend, we had 5-6 people come, 3 of them committed right that when they came. So I think it's more about, it's just the development that you get here, and it's the leadership, knowing that you're going to be doing something that's hard, and why not do something that's really sucky right now so you can learn from it and grow from it now rather than experience that later in life. So there's a lot of battles and challenges here, but they're only going to make us stronger for in the future.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I that's you sold me. You sold me. If I'm there, I do recruit for a signing, big man. Cause I think there is a lot to offer there, and I've watched you. I was mentioning the coaches earlier, and I don't feel like they get enough credit because I've watched you grow so much, especially from your freshman year, and it might not even seem that outside looking in, if somebody doesn't follow you on a regular, but they sit there and they're, hey, man, he won the EIWA his freshman year, and then he's runner up his junior year, so. But at the end of the day, there's been so much growth, and you have steadily gotten better and better, which is, which is obviously the goal, but that means they're doing their job. They're making, they're clearly able to take you from this level and get you to this level. You know what I mean? So it's what else are you looking for? If you can sit there and they can set you up for your future, they're taking you and making you a better wrestler. It's a family. I'm not seeing a negative here. You know what I mean? So it definitely sounds like you chose the right place, and you're happy with it. And I, to be honest with you, I'm glad you went there, because it's opened up my eyes, even as a fan, to be honest with you, to sit here. And usually it's hey, watch the Big Ten teams, and this is who runs it, a couple ACC teams. But it's really hey, man, it really made me even dig into just the EIWA as a whole. You know what I mean? It's man, that conference is no joke. Drexel's got some dogs. Cornell is honestly loaded, and you guys come in, and it's a fun conference that I feel doesn't get the recognition it deserves. And how do you feel like you guys are kind of under the radar, kind of?
Well, I do.
Do you feel that way?
For the weight class I'm at, I do, because even Penn and Columbia, the Columbia kid, he beat I can't think of his name, but the Ohio State kid,
Ethan Smith.
Ethan Smith, and there's a lot of I think there is 5 or 6 ranked people at my weight class, and my first match, the kid didn't have that good of a season, but I had him the 3rd match at nationals my freshman year from Lehigh. I've wrestled him 8 to 9 times throughout my career already, but I had him first match of the conference tournament. So, and it went from him to the Navy kid to Penn and then to Cornell, but it was That was a tough tournament.
It is, and especially at your weight class. I feel like when it comes to this conference, like 174 is just stacked.
Yeah.
It's stacked, and it's kind of scary to a point too, because it's like, all right, he's got to get to top three. Like we got top three that go, right, or four.
Yeah, I think it was top 4 this year.
Yeah, but it's still like whenever you look at the bracket, and like you said, you got a Columbia kid that's beaten an All-American of top 5. I mean, he finished 5th the year before. This year, I believe it was 5th, and then he didn't place, and then I think he ended up 5th again. But either way, like Ethan was tough, top 10 ranked kid, monster at Ohio State. I didn't even know this kid from Columbia. I watched the duel, and I'm like, oh shoot, and I really didn't even put it all together. Like, man, he's in Benny's class, and then Ethan ends up wrestling him again, I believe maybe at Nationals, and it was close. I mean, Ethan pulled it out, but it was like, so it's like, man, this kid he can go. And because I think he got one of those, I don't know if he placed 4th or if he got one of those, like the automatic bids, like, you know what I mean?
He placed 3rd, actually.
Did he take those? So where'd the boy from Penn? What he found at 4th?
The Penn kid lost his next. So this is why it was like a hard weight class, because we also had the Harvard kid. He was ranked 8th in the country in the beginning of the year and just lost a couple matches that made him go lower in rank. So the Harvard kid ended up making it to 3rd and 4th. The Drexel kid and the Penn kid both
O'Malley.
They both got knocked out. Like O'Malley got knocked out of the tournament, and then Penn kid he placed 6th because he like injured a folded out for 5th and 6th. But they both got
after your match.
Yes.
So he wrestled you. You beat him in the semis, and then he ended up just.
No, he lost to go for 3rd and 4th. He lost that match by a point to the Harvard kid. So they both got automatic bids though. So we had 6 in my weight class get automatic.
That's nuts. Yeah, that's crazy when you really think about that. Like, and how many's in the EIWA total?
There's 15.
15 of you. So I mean, but that's crazy. The 6 to come out of it for nationals. That's
yes.
That's a weight class, buddy. And so, like, honestly, like the way whenever you did what? 1 at your freshman year, 3rd, and then 2nd, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, and then Foca is. I feel like he's going to be a challenge no matter what. Like at 174.
For sure.
I mean, I feel like I would take you against anybody, anytime, and I believe you can get Foca. Foca's a good dude. Did a podcast with him. Super nice, super nice dude. But he's funky. He's got this funky style to him, and just he's real sticky. He's real. He just got a funky style to him.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that matchup coming up this year? Because you know you're going to run into him. You know I think he came out ranked in the top 2, top 3.
Yeah, I think too. But it's funny because like wrestling him, it always feels so close. Like a couple times that we wrestled, he's got me like in a big move to where it's been like EIWA finals. There's a 5-point difference because of his little hip toss in the beginning. Mm-hmm. So that, and then like I wrestled before where it was a 13-12 match at the end, and it was last year, and I had to ride him out to get the riding point, and I got called for stalling on top with 1 second left on the clock, so they gave him a point there, and so he ended up winning like 13-12 or something. But we've had really close matches many times, but it's just getting over that little hump. So I know I can. It's just about doing it.
Me too. And I truly believe, like, I'm excited about that match the most for you. Like, I think I'm ready. You guys dueled him this year, right?
I don't think we dueled him this year. I think we'll see him at EIWAs, but there might be a tournament that we're at, but we don't duel them this year, I don't think.
Man, that stinks. I think honestly, I think it would be beneficial to see him before. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like, I think you're going to be, regardless, like you said, you can. And as long as you have that mindset, buddy, you can beat anybody in the country. I mean, even at nationals, when you seriously sit back and look at like you pulled Kemmer, twice?
Yeah.
From Iowa? Yeah. Like he was like 27 at the time too. Like, and I went to cause I went to Carrollton, and it was weird for me. Cause like I went to Carrollton for kindergarten through 8th grade, and then I moved to Pittsburgh and went to Franklin Regional, where Kemmer went to high school. But at the end of the day, like I'm a Benny Pasiuk fan. Like I was born in Carrollton. This
Yeah.
is home. You know what I mean? It was just a short little 10 years. Like, I mean, I love my Pittsburgh people, but at the end of the day, like, there's no competition there. But
Thank you.
it definitely was sitting there. It's like, man, like both these guys went to the same high schools as me, and sitting back and watching you pull him twice. And I just feel like you've had you they don't line you in the best spot in the world. But at the end of the day, it's nationals. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You're gonna have to run across those guys, whether it's in the second round, whether it's in. But you've also done some amazing things. When you beat North Carolina and
Oh yeah.
uh, uh come on, why are you like he's got curly hair?
I'm blanking on his
Starts
name.
with an L. Starts with an L.
It does.
But anyway, like he was favored. Like he was ranked like 10,
Yeah.
11.
Oh yeah. Exactly. He was ranked. Yeah, he was ranked high, but yeah, that was a good match. I like that one.
No, dude, it was and because like I remember looking at the bracket and like I was talking to my uncle Clyde and I was sitting there like going down through it and I was like, ooh, Benny got a tough one, like first round, and then like you pulled that off and it was like, ooh, and then I'm sitting there looking like who's he got next? I'm like, Benny got another tough one. But like it was exciting though, like that was was that your freshman year?
Yeah, it's Clay Lott, by the way. I just remember that.
Clay Lott, that was it. I knew I could picture him. I knew I could. It was Clay Lott. Yep. And he does. I think he does some Greco stuff too. So like he's got a weird style to him too.
Yes.
But you wrestled a heck. Your freshman year, honestly, when I look at all of them, like even though like I just sat there and said like I've seen you grow and grow and grow. But when you look at it as a whole, I love your freshman year. I
Me
just
too, yeah.
I love it.
It's funny because I think what it was that year too is you're a freshman and I only had 5 matches, or I had 3 matches going into nationals, or 5
Yep.
or whatever. So no one knows your style at all. So like it works. So everything works so easy. Like my double leg, I would just shoot in and just get it. But now everyone knows, like if you're wrestling, they obviously seen you wrestle before. So like now everyone stays low or something. So you have to learn to like open them up, and that's like can be hard with like good opponents. So that's where it's like the same stuff that I was doing, it just doesn't work the same way. So you have to learn to adapt and change little things to open those positions up. So that's where I think it's. But I agree. I felt like I was able to get in on shots so easy and everything worked so smoothly then.
And and a lot of it might be like, because at the end of the day, like people got to prep for you now. Like, buddy, you're ranked 11th in the country. I mean, like at the end of if I'm coming to wrestle Benny Pasiuk, I'm going to watch a little bit of his tape. What's he do? What's he like? What's he coming? Like, it's not like, hey, he's guy from Army, or hey, this guy from Ohio State, or whoever they're wrestling. But like when you're sitting in right outside the top 10, like they got to get ready for you. I mean, and they've had to get ready for you since but I feel like that freshman year was kind of like, yo, who is this? This kid's just coming in dogging like these like fourth year, like because Lout he had to be a junior at least a junior that year.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was a fun year to watch, and they all have been. And I mean, you finished in the top 3 every year at EIWAs, and that's something. This, like you said, we just talked about your bracket and how tough these kids are, and how many you're taking 6 to nationals. So it's just, man, even at the end of the day, like you're going to get on that podium this year. So I don't want it to make it sound like I'm not, because I know you are. You're gonna podium this year, and honestly, I'd love to tell you like you're gonna be a national champ this year, and I believe you can, Benny. Honestly, if you go out there, and I've watched you wrestle at your best, and like there's Starachi ain't like, I don't care, like you got him, you can, you can.
Thank you.
And you know that though.
Yeah.
Like I'm not telling you nothing you don't know, but at the end of the day, like I feel, I don't know. I feel like if you wrestle your match, there's nobody in this country that'll ever be able to mess with you, buddy. And I know that you're gonna get on it. But say you don't, all right. And I hate to even say it honestly, but this is just figure of speech. When you look back at it, like you got to be proud of them 4 years. Say you go 2-2, you know what I mean, and or you make it to the blood browns or something and end up dropping it. Like you've done some really special things. If your career ended right now, and I'm sitting here looking at it, like you're 50-16, like when you're in D1 wrestling against a monster of a weight class. you placed, like I said, top three in the EIWAs. You've qualified for nationals all 3 years. Like, I mean, you got to sit back. And I know you won a lot this year. Like, I know, like, you know what I mean. This is just saying something. Say, you don't. Like, at the end of the day, buddy, I just want you to know that, like, you got so many people that support you back home here, and this is a heck of a career and something that nobody else around here has ever done. And we're just proud as hell of you, big guy. Like, if it ended today, and I think there's the best is yet to come. Like, as much as we love that freshman year, I think we're gonna love this senior year even more.
I agree. Thank you. Yeah, that's something for sure that I like looking back. I definitely am like very grateful for what I've been blessed with and everything that's happened because I would never like imagine like 10 years ago. I'm like, there's no way nothing's happening. Even my junior, I never would imagine any of this happening. But it's something that I'm very grateful for, and I think that the biggest thing is just if I'm able to give my all every day. At the end of the day, I just want to know I gave my all and I did everything I could have. Say the worst case scenario, nothing happened, I wasn't able to place, but I knew I gave everything I could. Then I'll be upset that I didn't place, but at least I knew I gave my all. So that's something that like I want to no matter what be proud of myself. Like my senior year, make sure I gave everything I could and pushed through tough times. And yeah, so that's something that. But obviously, the goal is to be on the podium, so I'm gonna fight for that every chance I get. So
Absolutely, absolutely, and you'll be there. You'll be there. I got.
very appreciative of all. I know I have so many supporters back home, so it's something that I like when I go home. I'll see some people, but I don't really get much time off. So it's every like I'll be off for like maybe 3 weeks out of the entire year at home most times. So it's I don't really get to see everyone, but I know that I have so many people out there supporting me and that have the best like in mind for me.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, and you're talking, buddy, you're talking. Me and you have talked twice on here, some online. So nobody. It is. I'm a man you've never even met in person. And to be honest, for you, I would go. I go just as hard for you as I would anybody else if it was my
Thank
brother out there on a mat. You know what I mean? So,
you.
you definitely. I promise you. I mean, we can't. I mean, look where where we come from. We're small town people that. Sometimes it can be a little frustrating with everybody knowing everybody, but at the same time, whenever something like this happens, and what you've done is very special, man, and it happens to be the sport that I love the most in the world. So like I really love it. And but at the end of the day, like we couldn't be any prouder. And like one thing is about this small town is they all at the end of the day, as much as they have each other and know this guy and this guy says this or this or this, but they have the best intentions and the best in mind, and they root for you so heavily, and it's what makes it home.
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
So what are you thinking of this 3 point takedown? I think for your style, I like it, but what are you thinking of it?
I'm on the same page. I think that it doesn't change anything for me. The difference is instead of I've wrestled matches where the score has been 10-5 in the match or 9-5, and it's because I've taken him down 4 times and he's got 4 escapes or 5 times 5 escapes. So I think it'll only separate the match more, and it does benefit me because throughout my like career in college, it's been different for top. Like I haven't been able to turn people like I want to, no matter how much I put it in. So like I'm trying to work on top still, but it's something that's never like came as easy. But I think that neutral is my like best position, and that's where I feel most confident. So I'm totally okay with a 3 point takedown
Yeah.
roll.
Yeah. The only thing I feel like is going to be different, obviously, like, yelling three instead of two when somebody like it's a close one. But I guess the logistics of the match, like to where like, all right, you got your takedown, or say you get taken down, all right, and then you escape. You're coming into the third, and you're down 3-1. You choose bottom. So you like back in the day, it was just, hey, get that escape. We're tied up as long as he don't got riding time. Now it's like, shoot, I'm I'm still
You don't
down
choose
one.
bottom, you choose neutral, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, like that with you, like that would probably be the ticket. Like, hey, I'm gonna go get my takedown now.
Yeah.
Like,
I
yeah,
Yeah, I think it's good for the sport overall because someone
yeah,
that like if you've never seen wrestling before and you see two people just like on top of each other, like just like you don't know what's happening. You're like, why aren't they like doing anything? Because it's hard to get on the bottom. But if you have two people in neutral trying throws or taking like cool shots, it makes it so it's more attractive to the fan, where it's like, oh, I'm engaged and I want to watch. So I think they're trying to keep it more like a freestyle match where it's all feet based, and it makes it so it's fun to watch, not just two
More
people. Like someone that's really good at riding just like lays there for 6 minutes on top and does nothing the whole match.
And there's people that do it, yeah, and it does. It makes a rough match, and I get it if you're nice at riding, you throw your legs in and get your riding time point. But I feel like after you get your riding time, and like to where honestly, like they're starting to take it to where they're gonna end up stopping the riding time. Like that was another thing that they discussed was like, unless you turn them, and it was like, no, like you gotta. This ain't just holding somebody down is not. These are guys been doing this their whole life, and I feel like that riding time point, like whether you turn them or not, like you should get it because it's not like you said, like you've been working on turns for the last 4 or 5 years, right? And trying to get better your craft, better what you do, and it's not easy with these boys. They're the best kids in the country.
Yeah, the difference this year too is they're giving stalling calls on top now for like just not attempting to turn, but just sit on them. So it's something that's going to change a lot too, I think.
Yeah, absolutely, because there's certain teams that really there's a certain team that really does it a lot, and I ain't gonna call them out or nothing like that. But I mean, it's because like there's a lot of guys I want to interview from them, but they I feel like it's a good ride, and it's a very, but it's more or less like they're just laying like they're not doing.
It's one of them's like called the Penn State ride.
That's what it is, bro. That's what it is.
Everyone knows the ride. It's a very effective.
It's effective.
Ride. Yeah.
Yes, so, it is. But it's like
nothing against that. If you're good at it, why not do it?
Absolutely, and it's been effective for all these years. But I think that's the reason why that rule came up, and it was like because we're not the only ones. It's like, well, it's effective, but like, come on, like you know what I mean? Like, let's wrestle, boys. Like, and as a fan's perspective, that's me sitting in the stands, like wanting to be like, come on, let's get after it. Like, But I know where do you guys come anywhere close to Ohio this year? I'd like to see you live before you get.
We have a tournament I think we're wrestling at Cleveland State in like the 17th of December or that weekend.
Yeah.
So we're wrestling at a tournament there, I think. So
I'll be there, buddy. I promise you that. That's awesome. Especially Cleveland. Like, heck yeah. I was hoping like, hey, if it's 4 or 5 hours away, like I'll run it. Like now you're talking hour and a half. I'm there, big guy.
Awesome. No, thank you. But absolutely. So that's I think they did that for us this year because we have like a couple seniors. I think we have like 5 seniors that are from Ohio. So
I threw it in there for you. That's awesome.
Good crowd.
How, dude, you're gonna, yeah. You can, I can promise you. Yeah. I mean, especially, I mean, that's gonna, at 2,000, heck, that's half the Carrollton. So, I mean, you might have half the stands up there. That's exciting, man. I'm glad you get that on your senior year. I am. I'm glad you get to come home and get one, big guy. Because that's you benefiting us. Like we get to come watch one of the best that's ever done it from where we're from. So I got to at least see it. My cousin was trying to get me to come down last year. She was like, and I know the last time we talked, she wasn't playing. Like she was ready, but like when we looked it up, I was just like, poof. What is it? What is that? Like it was like 8 or 10, I think. I can't remember what it was. Like
from Carrollton, it's 7.
7? Well, now you're making me feel worse. You should have been like, yeah, it's like 8, bro. If you stop and get gas.
So I had ring weekend 2 weeks ago, and that's where we were like we got our ring for it's a big deal here for like in your class ring. So we all got ours. You made it. You like designed it yourself, and we like had a big banquet for it. And we were I don't know if you saw the picture I posted on Instagram, but it was like in the all white. It's called India white uniform. But I brought my aunt and uncle came up as well with my family, and they love history. So like they had a blast. They love this. There's so much history to it. Like for me nowadays, it's like I'm so used to it now. I don't like look around or anything, but if you're like new here, it's something that, especially in the fall, it's just a beautiful like site and just everything about it. The history is really, really cool.
Man, you're talking me into it. Now you guys go to Navy this year, huh?
We do.
I gotta look at the home schedule. I gotta look at the home.
We have a couple home dual meets. We have one with our very first one's NC State, and that's that's a Thursday night, November 17th, I think. But then we that weekend we host a tournament, and Penn State and them will be here too. So it'll be a good like tournament.
That is, yeah, heck yeah, it's a dang good tournament, and that's. So who's 74 at NC State? I was about to. I'm almost, but that's 84.
Yes, that's Alex Faison. I wrestled him last year.
How'd you do?
I beat him.
Why don't I remember that?
By like 6 points, or it was like 8-2 or 9-3. But
he's a monster too. He
almost beat Mekhi Lewis at the he's done really well.
Yeah, he has. So to get him by 6, man, you see, that's what I mean. When you're on that game, like you can run with anybody, and I'm excited.
Yeah, we wrestled them at their place last year, so it was a huge crowd there. It was nice.
Yeah, I can imagine, because NC State, like they built a heck of a program. I can say that. I can't remember the coach's name down there, but he has definitely flipped that program into something very special. Like when them and Virginia Tech go at it, always an amazing, one of the best duels of the year. I'm glad that definitely be a cool one to go to, especially even with Penn State coming down for that tournament. Is that like opening? What are you guys starting off with? What's opening like first? Tournament of the year. What's starting it off?
We're actually the very first match of the year for any. It's on a Wednesday. It's November 1st, the first day you can compete, and it's against Campbell, and it's on a ship. I have to think about where this is. Like, what's it called? Because I'm gonna look up.
It's on a ship.
Yeah, so it's like it's an Army aircraft, I think, or something.
Oh.
So it's a pretty like cool thing though, because
it would be.
So it'll be streaming like on like I think it's like UFC or something, like this new place that they want to make people pay more money for stuff.
Yeah, you got to watch it. Yeah, you got to watch if you want to watch it here. Pay for this one, and watch the next one. Pay for this one. Yeah, they get me though. If it's wrestling, like I'll buy all 10 of them, because this is what like people deer hunt. Some people do that. I do my wrestling. Like this is the hobby. So at the end of the day, it is sad that they do break it up like that so much. But I'm the reason why they can, because they're like, yeah, this Bobby kid and people like him, they'll pay for it. But especially to see a battleship like that is awesome. I think that is super cool.
Yes,
awesome idea.
I forget. I'm trying to. It's in North Carolina, and I think it's at Fort Campbell, I believe. And it's like at a military base, and then it's going to be on one of the aircraft. So it'll be really cool. So
that's how you're kicking the season off.
That's how we're kicking it off. So
you guys ain't joking this year. So you're coming to Cleveland. You got a tournament that Penn State's coming to. You got NC State, like, whew. But you got a senior year coming. You got yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and they're definitely making it special for you, to where it's going to be fun to watch. And
yeah, I'll send you the schedule, because that's like it was posted.
Yeah,
so I'll send you that.
Definitely, I appreciate it, big man. Because I can promise you, I even outside of the Cleveland one, man, we'd like to see as much as we can. I wish they're bringing nationals back to Cleveland in like 3 years. I know,
it's really upsetting that it's Cleveland and Pittsburgh the next 2 years. So.
Yeah, I know, and it was like, and this year I can't. Is it back in St. Louis again?
No, it's still like, it's still far west. I think I don't know.
I liked the fact that they're moving it around, because remember they used to do it in Missouri like every year with St. Louis.
Yes.
So I'm glad they're moving it around, but now they're even. I hope they just keep bringing it to Pittsburgh and Ohio at least like every 4, because it's.
I think they're doing that like every 5-6 years. They're like changing it. So
I love it, because it's one of the best things I've ever been to.
Senior year of high school, it was in Pittsburgh, so I went to watch it then.
Yeah, see, I didn't get to go to the Pittsburgh one. I went to the year before. I was a huge Nathan Tomasello fan, like just hard Tomasello, and it was his senior year at Ohio State. Oh. So it was in Cleveland, and me and my uncle Clyde ended up he ended up linking up with some people, and we got 2 tickets, and it was. I mean, I've been to professional football games, Ohio State college football games. I mean, just baseball games. There was nothing like the Nationals, man. Like just amazing,
It
amazing.
is. Yeah, it really is amazing.
I couldn't imagine being down there on the max. Like I remember just walking in and just being like, and just every seat in at the Quicken Loans Arena was packed. I mean, it was like, man, if I was down there, there's just no way I wouldn't be down there. Like, this is a little nerve wracking. Like it just I can't even put myself in your shoes and how that feeling is. But man, like even just that you've got to experience that, man, like you killed it, buddy.
Yeah, thank you very much.
But hey, man, I know I didn't mean to hold you up for 50 minutes, Benny.
No, hey,
I know you got a lot, man. But I definitely, honestly, want to thank you again. And you're our guy, man. We wish you obviously nothing but the best, and I can't wait to see you up on that podium this year. And I'm very excited to see how the senior year goes. And we know you're going to go out strong. And I'll definitely be there to catch a couple big men.
thank you very much. No, it means a ton. Thank you.
Oh, you already know, buddy. And if there's anything, actually, you know what? Whenever you get up to Cleveland, I got something I want to give you anyway because you've taken the time and to jump on this platform and help me out, and it's much appreciated. So, and just being able to get to know you, man. So like I got something I give to some guys to jump on, and it's definitely just a little thank you, nothing crazy, man, but just to say thank you for taking the time and just being who you are, and especially coming from where we're from, man. We're proud as hell of you, big man. And
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And excited for your future, even outside of wrestling, like I said earlier, and just keep doing you, buddy, because you're heading in some amazing things. Your parents did a heck of a job, bud.
Thank you very much. Means a ton.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. But make sure you keep in touch and stay healthy.
I will.
Stay healthy. Make sure you stay healthy. This is.
I know this is an important one.
Yeah, this one, and I feel selfish even saying it, but it's like it's important to us, man.
Yeah.
Like, but we just love you, man. We want to see you kill it this year. That's all.
Thank you so much. That means a ton.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But we'll definitely stay linked up and shoot me that schedule, and we'll definitely get something worked out, man, where we can link up in Cleveland or something for a quick little picture,
that works perfect. Yeah. Let me know for sure if you end up coming, because I want to make sure I'm able to see you and talk to you for sure in person. So.
Oh, absolutely. I'll definitely stay linked up. I'm sure during the matches, right before you head into EIWAs and every match, like I'll be shooting you a quick like pep talk real quick.
Yeah. Sounds great.
This guy.
Thank you very much.
Hey, not a problem. Thanks again, Benny. And yeah, we'll definitely be in touch and stay safe, big guy.
Thank you. Hey.